The Knights Templar history is fascinating. They were founded in the early 1100s, and it's unclear exactly what their purpose was.
The Order of the Knights Templars, founded in 1118, likely had roots in earlier religious orders, including the Cathars, from the Greek meaning pure ones, of southern France. According to some sources, the Cathars had roots directly linked to the Holy Grail and believed that they were the protectors of a secret lineage of bloodline going all the way back to Christ.
The Knights Templars were started with very modest means. They were thought to be the Knights of the Poor. Their emblem was two knights on one horse because they couldn't afford a horse for each knight. But they were very dedicated, and after the Crusades, the Templars right away went to the holy city of Jerusalem. Their official purpose there was to protect the route to Jerusalem from Europe, the Europeans' pilgrim. But when you look at what they did when they arrived there, it's clear that their purpose was widely different. I believe that their main purpose was to find and recover and bring back to Europe the Ark of the Covenant of God, what they eventually called the Chalice or the Holy Grail.
Indeed, upon their arrival to Jerusalem in 1119 AD, the First Order of the Templars established themselves in the Al-Aqsa Mosque close to the Dome of the Rock, which itself is thought to be the former site of Solomon's Temple, a temple whose sole purpose was to host the Ark of the Covenant at its center in the Holy of Holies. This site has become central to both Islamic and Judaic traditions. It was here, underneath the Temple Mount, over a period of 7 years, that the Knights dug several tunnels and causeways, many of which are still intact today. The Templars were looking for the Ark of the Covenant, which was believed to have been hidden in some underground chamber beneath the Temple Mount. Most historians agree that the Templars may have found something extremely significant under the Temple Mount, and that upon their return to Europe, they applied this knowledge, donning the age of Gothic architecture, best exemplified by their first effort, the extraordinary Chartres Cathedral.
My understanding and what I have found is that the Templars most likely on that first pass did not find the Ark of the Covenant, but documents associated with it.
Over the years, the Knights Templars maintained a presence at the Temple Mount, and there is evidence from various sources, including the research done by Graham Hancock in his book, The Sign and the Seal, that during the later years, the Knights Templar may have been contacted by Prince of Ethiopia, Lalibela, who claimed that Ethiopia was the home and the resting place of the Ark. Hancock makes a strong case for the removal of the Ark from the temple just prior to the Babylonian overthrow in 587 BC. Hancock later follows the Ark up the Nile to Elephantine Island, up the Blue Nile into Ethiopia, through Lake Tana, and ultimately to Exum, in the small chapel of St. Mary of Zion. According to Haramain's research, during this interim period, when the Ark was removed from the Temple of Solomon to Elephantine Island, the Ark rested with the Essene community in Qumran. Both the Copper Scrolls and the subsequent confirmation of their authenticity by Vendell Jones's discovery of the key temple items associated with the Ark have corroborated the presence of the Ark of the Covenant in the Qumran region.
I believe that that society of high priests was unknown to our records because it was the B plan for the ark. If the ark was threatened in any way, it was brought to that society through underground tunnel out of Jerusalem, out of the city, and near the shore of the Dead Sea in that Qumran society.
Haramain further believes that this highly powerful object remained with the Essene community through the birth of the one who was initially called Emmanuel, and that his capacity to produce miracles, such as his healing powers and the anti-gravitic effects as walking on water, are a direct result of his contact with the Ark of the Covenant. By the time the Templars met with the exiled Prince Lalibela of Ethiopia, the Ark had long left the Qumran region and was well established with a growing Judaic community in Ethiopia. According to Hancock, the Templars may have made an agreement with Lalibela to help him regain control of his country in return for direct access to the Ark.
Evidence of the passage of the Knights Templar is found as well in Ethiopia in various churches and monuments which have Knights Templar crosses and all sorts of artifacts that support the Knights Templar passage through Ethiopia, including folkloric legends about these blue-eyed, blonde-haired, white-skinned people coming to Ethiopia during those periods. One most amazing documented interview by Graham Hancock is the interview to the guardian of the Ark in Ethiopia.
The Ethiopian guardian of the Ark is a monk chosen by the high priests of Ethiopia as being pure of heart. Once chosen, the monk is never allowed to leave the site of the church of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark is located under close watch. As Hancock reports, he asked, "What is the power of the Ark?" The guardian priest answers, "Have you seen the stelae? How do you think they were raised up?" The Ark was used, the Ark and the celestial fire. Men alone could never have done such a thing. The largest of these stelae found in front of the chapel weigh in excess of 500 tons and have been moved considerable distances from the quarry where they were cut. As pointed out by Haramain throughout the presentation, the typical engineering issues associated with transporting and raising such large objects once again arise.
That right away and very clearly says that at least one part of the power of the Ark is a gravitational effect in which you're able to lift and raise very large, very heavy objects using its power. The monk says that this power as well has to do with celestial fire, that it's a very bright object. Something you would expect from a highly spinning, highly energized plasma dynamics in the vacuum state of our space-time manifold.